Thanks for clicking on the video. This is going to be a build diary on a typical Mark III superstrat style guitar that we produce here at Vigilant. This one in particular is going to be a 7-string, which is always fun. It's going to have some pretty nice figured woods and tone woods that we're going to be working with. The top is going to be maple burl. That's just a bit of mineral spirits I did just sprayed on there to have a look at some of the wood grain and decide on the orientation. As you can see, neck pocket's going to be up here, base is going to be down here, and we're going to grab a lot of figure into that top. Swamp ash, body blank, 2-piece, 2x8s glued together there. That'll be the back, of course. I mean, goes without saying, but this one will be obviously a right-handed guitar with the horn being up here, swooping around, and the lower horn down in the smaller blank there. So those two will lie over top of one another in a very pretty and shred-tastic fashion. For the neck, what we're going to have is a multi-laminate. You can see I've already done the blanks here. Eastern maple beams on the other side, and then for this client in particular, asked for 3 sapele mahogany stripes down the center with 2 again Eastern maple beams running right down the middle there, making for a very, very cool orientation. And it's really nice and easy to line up the center line because big old center line right in the middle. It'll be a paddle style headstock, just a bit faster production, really nice strong construction, and it's really nice and easy and quick to mill out. Over top of that, we're going to have a wenge fretboard, wenge, whatever you want to say. It's going to be just a straight 7-string. This, in this case, it's going to be a 26.5 inch scale length. What's that? 331 mil, something like that. And yeah, otherwise a pretty simple build overall. What we're going to have ratio locking tuners on the headstock, reverse, so all on the treble side, so reverse kind of under the arm tuning style. Some bare knuckles, they should be on their way, hopefully sooner than later. Hip shot bridge, and some pretty standard controls all overall. So, okay, so first things first, we are going to get started on the neck. I personally like starting with the neck. You could do the body, but with a bolt-on style construction, you could start with either or. I personally like the neck. So I have all the files queued up on my computer just behind me there for the CNC. However, I need to index and make sure that everything is going to be lined up for the necessary, for the hardware that's going to be going into play here. So that's great, and something I forgot to mention, this is actually going to be getting a cool mother of pearl inlay going into it, spanning across 11 to 13 frets, kind of a Celtic knot, which is really excited for. It'll look, I think, really sharp against this wenge. Yeah, so nut will be going down, actually let's mark that out just so we know. Nut going down this end. It'll be a 1/8 inch Fender style nut slot for the paddle headstock, which will work just fine. And we're going to do 24 frets at 26.5 inches and going from there. Perfect. And just looking at it relatively simply at this point, 2 really nice flat planes going together. So this is going to be a nice glue joint when we get to that stage as well. Okay, now that's all done up. Numbers are great, but it's always good to check to see how your hardware is actually going to fit. So, check with your truss rod. That's nice and flush all the way along there. Alright, so now we're going to tackle the fretboard. We've got our center, we have our nut, so we're going to go down at this end right here where my thumb is, and load that into the machine. Now, I've noticed, having done this a couple of times, that it's really easy for even a little piece of, well, it's a little piece of wenge, but there's still a little bit of flex into the board, and any sort of deflection from the wasteboard or the router can be a big, could feel like an acre on a small fretboard like this, especially when you're only milling out very thin slots, about 1 mil deep. Really just to give me a guideline of where the scale length goes, and then I dial it in by hand. I like milling it onto a nice flat surface. You can see I've got a piece of MDF down here. I'm going to use some double stick carpet tape to secure that. Plus, you can probably see on each of the corners, it's just a 1/4 inch hole, so I can actually fasten it to the wasteboard with just some easy Robbie screws. So I'll do that. Make sure those are snug. Okay, I'm gonna just take that out while we set this proper. Now, I'll locate my center. Right there. Again, I don't have a center line, so I'm not too worried about getting this all lined up, but okay, that's good. Load that in. Double check. Yep. Yep, love it. Okay. Okay. Set my Z. So I can actually see the dang thing. I think that's about right. So, while this is ready to rock and roll, I'm going to be milling out that neck blank, and we'll go from there. This will be a bit noisy, so won't be able to hear much of what I'm doing. So the next thing I'm going to do is drill through the tuner holes. Now I didn't drill all the way through the back because one, the spindle on the CNC can't go quite deep enough, but two, if I get chip out or blowout from using the drill press, I can simply just take that off the back end and you're not going to have that tear out. So I'm still going to use a wasteboard and try and minimize the tear out as best as possible, but we'll drill through and then plane the back, and I can go down to the exact thickness for the heel, which is really what I'm trying to sort through. Then I can resaw amount of material, usually about, I like to do 16 millimeters. I'll scribe that onto the back of the guitar. Boom, and then I can run that through the big old bandsaw right there, and that will actually get me pretty close to the finished depth of my headstock break angle, or for the paddle, essentially. So we'll drill these holes and run it through the bandsaw. Good little tip, move your wasteboard along with the holes, because if you just simply keep using the same location on your wasteboard, it negates its entire purpose. So move the wasteboard as you're kind of moving along, and that way it try and minimizes tear out on really any material. Now this, as you can see, like I said, great, happy, awesome, love it, really good. It's these two at the very end, if you can see them. A little bit of tear out, just again, right at that mahogany. You know, nothing catastrophic. I mean, honestly, I could just get that out with a orbital sander, but you know, when you're dealing with really exotic woods that are prone to chipping, you know, say things like wenge or whatnot, it's good practice anyway to just go about it. So, okay, tuner holes are done. Excellent. So what I will do now is on the back side. Right, perfect. Make sure you got the right backside. This is reverse headstock. I almost flubbed that up for a second. So this is the back of the neck here for a reverse headstock. So it means I want to remove the material in here, right? Now, 15 mil, I'm gonna give myself a cushion of about a mil, so 16. Scribe that along the back, this side of the neck. Going all the way along, all these marks are going to come out. 16 gives me a bit of cushion as I'm sanding down, not only from the back, but also from the top, as you eventually dial it in for a finish sand. So do it on both sides. That one's already done. A little bit more. Go. Okay, so let's start working on the body. Swamp ash body blank. Gonna get chambered out, right-handed, upper horn. Maple burl top. Orientation upward, so those two are all ready to rock. Index holes for mounting to the wasteboard, all done. we have it. So, from there, we have the body. Came out very nice. Let's see. I'm just curious to see. Whoa, zero this out. I want to see how close these guys are. Cause, right, we wanted this to be 18.4. I got 19, so I mean it's off by a ½ mil. But the thing that I've really come to learn with CNC is you can trust it to do certain things and can't trust it to do others. One of the things you can trust, shapes, profiles, great, love it, quite accurate and within tolerable levels. When it comes to depth with the belt, there's too much room for error, and so if this was really dependent on like I might say on my neck pocket here, which let's just double check. I've got it, yeah, that's 0. Okay, well, there you go, 15.4. We wanted 15.3, so you know what, 1/10 of a mil is pretty easy to shave off on either this side or probably on the neck, to be honest. So I gave myself a little bit of cushion on that. But really great for making, honestly, light work of a lot of boring backbreaking stuff. Chambering, all of these guys, there's really not much pleasure in it anymore. It's fine if you're doing it kind of a one-off sort of thing, but if this is your 5th, 6th, 10th, 20th, or 100th build, it loses its luster pretty fast. So, but whether you're doing it by hand or on CNC, good rule to use, a good trick actually rather, is ears. Use some ears, 1/4-inch dowel, so when you're gluing up your body to your top, which is all laid out there, the index holes will line up. So whether you got an MDF template or a CNC, everything should line up. Ooh, more like that. There we go. You can see this one, the depths were all off. I wasn't really too picky about it because I'm going to throw this through the drum sander and get that down to level. Sanding off, of course, this side because I don't want to mess up the beautiful top. And it's book matching, so as much as possible. Some of it will come down because we're going to have to fill all these inclusions with some natural resin, and there's quite a few of them actually, now that I look at it. So I'm going to get into that. Well, that about does it for day one. Not a bad day's work coming from blanks. Neck's all milled out, truss rod channel milled out. Still lots of work to do on the profiling, shaping, heel. Fretboard is all laid out, nut, everything. You guys can see that. Still got to line up the center line. The inlay is going to be going in as well. Be doing a good little segment on that. Top milled out as well. I'm going to drill through these holes. They didn't quite go down in the CNC, so and there's still lots of sanding before it can be fitted to the body yaddy, which came out pretty nice actually. I just ran that through the planer a couple of times. a little bit of snipe on the back there, but still have to punch through here. Obviously, when you run through the top through the planer, which I did a couple of times, just because it was a bit of a cavity at the back end here, I wanted to get rid of. Reduce the neck pocket and pickups depths as well. But again, we've got a lot of cushion to work with if I need to. It's really easy with a plunge router to take out a bit more in the pockets of the pickups, and we'll have to see what the number comes up with when we put the neck in, and we can always shave off more on the heel, and that's why you start with big and work small. It's really easy to take away wood than it is to put it back on. So, until next time.